If a pitcher's arm slot drops during a game, what should you do as a coach and how can you coach them during the game? So in this video, we'll cover the problem, physical causes, mental causes, and what to say during a mound visit or in the dugout during a game. So physical causes of an arm slot dropping. Number one, they're rushing down the mound. So pitchers are going to have their standard cadence, whatever that looks like. If you suddenly see them start to move a little bit faster or their shoulders are dipping, so say they start to leak their weight forward, that can also count as rushing. Rushing is one of the biggest causes of an arm slot drop. And the reason for that is when they don't get to go uphill with their shoulders as well, they start to get down here. Now their body has to rotate more to create force, and that's when their arm slot will drop. Next physical cause is when they land too far open. So when a pitcher strides, they should typically be pretty straight towards the plate. If they start flying open and landing open, their body is going to spin and rotate more rather than using their front side, and their arm is going to typically drop from here to here. So landing open is a big cause, something definitely to watch out for if they're landing, if their arm slot starts to drop. The next big physical cause is when their front side flies open. This is really common. So if a pitcher, when they land, we want them to still be relatively closed. If they start to open up this front side in the air pretty early, again, their body becomes more rotational and their arm slot will drop. Last physical causes, number one, just general lack of repeatability. And again, this is something as a coach, you just have to sort through. Is it worth having a visit over? Is it worth discussing? Or is this pitcher just generally pretty inconsistent and their inconsistency is consistent for them, if that makes sense? And then lastly, fatigue. When players get fatigued, different aspects of their mechanics change. And sometimes they don't have the leg strength left to really use their front side to stay up and to get on top of the ball. And what happens is they start to drift down the mound, rush a little bit more, and their arm slots tend to drop. Mental causes of an arm slot that drops. Number one, trying to throw the perfect changeup, slider, or curveball. When they think too much about an off-speed pitch, they'll tend to baby it and they'll tend to get around it a little bit more. Also, when they're learning new pitches, they tend to drop their arm slot on changeups and on sliders. It's just a mental thing. Just understand that. It could be part of their normal learning process. Next mental cause of an arm slot dropping is when they're overthinking their mechanics. Sometimes players get nervous and they start to try to control everything. They start to get really rigid and stiff. And when they do that, their body doesn't whip as well. Their arm is not as relaxed. And what happens is they tend to start to drop their arm slot and get around it. I can't tell you exactly why that happens, but I've definitely seen it where players who are nervous and wound up and they start to get real rigid and robotic, their arm slot tends to drop with it. And lastly, inexperience and stress in the game. Those can also make tangible physical changes to their mechanics. So it's also a mental, emotional symptom. When they start to get stressed and they start to rush and everything else starts to change, that's when their arm slot can drop. Real quick, do you want to support my channel and get access to hundreds of member-only baseball videos? If so, click the join button that you'll find right below and learn more about becoming a channel member. So when should you have a mound visit when you see that a pitcher is dropping their arm slot? Number one, when there's a noticeable drop-off in the quality of either their fastball, changeup, curveball, any of their pitches, when there's a noticeable drop-off in quality of the pitch itself, that's a good time to intervene. Next, if you see their velocity change because of this, like they're throwing slower than normal because you see their arm slot dropping, if their command is suffering, and this is often a big one, or if you feel like they're telegraphing it so much that other hitters are going to pick it up. So say their fastball is here and their changeup is really low, it's way down here, and you just know that hitters are going to see that difference, that is a good time to talk about it, whether in the dugout or having a mound visit. So what should you say when you have a mound visit or you have time on the bench to a pitcher whose arm slot is kind of all over the place? So number one, remind them to slow down, take deep breaths, try to de-stress as best they can, right? Focus on the next pitch, only the next pitch. Remind them what they can and cannot control. And if they can slow down, that will help solve some of the rushing where they're speeding down the mound too much, leaking their weight forward. Next, ask them to look down their front shoulder longer. So that if they're looking through their upper arm, this is going to help them stay closed. It will prevent flying open. It will help prevent them landing too far open with their stride. It'll cure a couple of those problems if they can do it just by focusing with their eyes and tracking and seeing this in their frame of vision as long as they can. And lastly, just reminding them to throw every pitch at the same arm speed and intensity as their fastball. Don't overthink their changeups. Ask them not to overthink their curveballs. Don't overthink their sliders. Just get the grip and let their body do the rest. Throw it hard, throw it just like their fastball. You can also ask your pitchers to go uphill with their shoulders a little bit longer. They feel the weight in their back leg a little bit more, and they think about almost going uphill with their shoulders. That can help them not leak their weight forward as much, not rush. That can help them really stay back and allow their body to use their front side and then get on top of the baseball a little bit better. And lastly, sometimes depending on the problem, it can help just to ask them, hey, see if you can feel your fingers a little more to the top of the ball rather than them getting on the side. Just try to feel for the top of the baseball a little bit better. That can help, but usually that is just a ride along. If their front side is high and they use it better, their fingers will get on top automatically. But depending on the pitcher, depending on what you see, asking them to try to feel for the top of the ball can definitely help. So this problem is very common, and I hope this video helped. As a coach, you just want to help your pitchers along. And when you see inconsistency in their arm slot, them dropping on the side of the ball in various pitches, it's something that you do want to address as best you can. Give them little easy actionable items to fix it, and then continue to move on and progress during the game. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the join or the subscribe button below, and you can become a member of my channel, get more videos like this one. Share this video with a friend, and I'll see you here in the next one.